Hey B, I have some creepy original content for you to close out your summer. It's kind of too long, didn't read, but if you can get off your ADD high horse for 10 minutes, or so, that it takes me to share this shit, then I think you'll be pleased. Then again, it's summer, so you'll probably get the lililele right out of here. I took these pictures yesterday, so there isn't a timestamp. However, to prove that I'm not trolling, here is the exact location of where these pictures were taken. Pic related. If you want to call me a liar, then that's fine. But at least have the balls to go here and prove yourself. I'll commence the creepy dumping in the next post. In before OP's camera sucks, yeah? Sorry, I can't afford a paparazzi machine like you. In before herder copy pasta. Prove it. 3 days ago, my last living grandparent, my mother's father, passed away at the age of 89. He was a World War II vet. And my mom tells me that after returning home from the Navy, he was never quite the same. In fact, he was pretty paranoid about nearly everything. I was never really allowed to stay at his house. In 1965, his wife died suddenly. No real explanation. My mom tells me that my grandfather became extremely fearful of the nuclear war with the communists, and started to dig a bomb shelter out the rock and limestone of his land. I had never seen the bomb shelter until today, when the family was going through my grandfather's belongings. Pic related. It's the entrance.
Go on.
I had only asked my grandfather about his hand-dug cave one time in my life, which was when I was about 16 or so, when we got together for Christmas. He really didn't seem to want to talk about it. He just told me never to go in there, because it's just so damn... What the word then blank was, I'd never been able to figure out. No amount of Googling helped me determine what he said. All I know is it kind of sounded like, swear. Just the way he said it was creepy enough that I never asked about it again. This picture is a back view towards the door after you go a few steps in. I hadn't even thought about the shelter until today, when my mother asked me to go and check it out, to see if I could find anything worth putting on the estate sale. To be honest, I was pretty excited. I thought I might find some old gas masks, some non-perishable food from the 60s, maybe even some forms of entertainment he had planned to use to keep the family busy in the event of an attack. This picture is from the first hallway, which curves off to the right at the end. The first thing I found was his rudimentary toilet. Of course, time hadn't been kind to it, so there wasn't much left. It had obviously been in disrepair for years, so I just snapped a picture and kept going. Although, I had to admire the work that had gone into chipping away at the rock. One heave at a time.
Bomb pad.
But further down the hallway, I came to nothing but more old rusted garbage on the floor. I instantly felt my heart sink, because I had such high hopes for what this exploration would yield. It was beginning to look like my grandfather had just given up at this point on his dream of crafting a shelter. Pic related. It's the garbage. But you'll notice that, in the previous picture, the hallway curves off to the left. I was expecting it to hit a flat wall of rock, but instead, I found a huge iron door that was padlocked shut. Fortunately for me, it had become rusted all to hell, so I was able to pick up a decent-sized rock off the floor until it busted the entire loop that went through it. Opening the door was another story, though. It was extremely heavy, and had become rusted shut over the years. So I found a shovel in the back of the garbage heap, and used all my strength to force it open with a lever action. Pic related. It's a few after I got the damn thing open.
I like where this is going.
The only thing back here was a hallway that abruptly ended, where he had stopped digging. But there was a doorway off to the right. So I went to the doorway, and inside looked more like a cavern than a bomb shelter. So I looked around. Then I noticed this fucking carving in the stone. At first I was like, oh, no big deal. Maybe he just came back here to pray or something. But that's when I started to notice there were more carvings. Suddenly I saw this face, carved in the rock. There were faces everywhere. Seriously, it was as though a bunch of ghostly faces were staring you down in that room. Pig related. Here's another example. I noticed while the other appeared to be a soft female face, this one was an angry male face. And there was quite a few of them. I don't know, probably 6 or 7. They were all carved into the walls, though they were all facing the cross carving, worshipping it, or something. I happened to look down at the ground below the skull carving, and there, sitting in a bunch of concrete rubble, was a mother-fucking bone. And don't get me wrong, I'm not just a fucking Nancy. This was no deer bone. This was clearly a human bone. My heart was pounding out of my chest as I started to look more closely. I saw more bones coming out of the concrete, as though human remains had been dumped in a batch of quick-drying cement or something. Then, I could have sworn I heard a quiet laugh from the corner of the room, and I fucking bolted. I ran out of there like the devil was chasing me. I ran all the way out of the shelter, and back to the house.
WTF? Did the post with the bone just get deleted? Or is /B just acting up again?
The pigs have no eggs.
What the hell? Did a mod delete my last post? And then I saw this one. Unlike every single other carving in the room, which were clearly faces, this one was clearly meant to be a skull. It seemed out of place. It felt like the rest of the room had religious connotations to it. Why was there a skull? Well, I found out soon enough.
More.
Somebody start screen capping, and for the love of God more.
An ossuary is a chest, building, well, or site made to serve as the final resting place of human skeletal remains. I wouldn't pronounce it as ossuary, but it could plausibly be pronounced something like that in accents and dialects of English.
Shit. Okay. It took me a long time to type that out, and someone just knocked at the door. Keep this thread bumped.